What we completed in the last class. So I think we were discussing about the hibernate introduction part. Hibernate introduction part. So hibernate basic details can I provided there. Then Red Hat systems and other is anything. Type is ORM implementation product, open source software. Objective is simplify persistency layer in enterprise applications. Then after that, versions information are given there. The latest version is going to be 5.6 version. It was available in 2017. So next one is the hibernate features. Here we are discussing. Already completed some of the features. You have to understand it. So what are the various features already we completed? And first one is which one? Hibernate is a database independent. Hibernate is not at all dependent on the database. It is a database independent. How can we say Hibernate is a database independent? What is the reason for it? The reason is very clear. We can use any type of database there. For our front-end application, Hibernate will manage that interaction with the databases there. How it is possible for Hibernate? Hibernate is having almost all the databases native implementations. Hibernate is maintaining internally almost all the database vendors having provided native implementations there. That native is provided in the form of which one? A separate classes. The set of classes are called as which one? Dialect classes. Dialect classes are available inside the Hibernate. Because of this dialect implementations, Hibernate is database independent. That is one point. Next one is which one? Hibernate is used for both the standalone applications and enterprise applications. So we can utilize this. Because of this reason only, Hibernate is a more portable data persistency mechanism. There is no restrictions for this Hibernate. At any place, in any Java application, we can use this Hibernate here. Next one, Hibernate will run under application servers and without the application server. Same point. Standalone application in the sense without the server. Enterprise application in the sense with the server here. Next one. Hibernate is more portable persistency mechanism. Because of these two reasons, no, Hibernate is more portable persistency mechanism. In all the servers and without the server also it is able to run its functionalities there. Next one is Hibernate is lightweight persistency mechanism. Why? Because it is using POS or POSI kind of implementations there. That means a plain Java bean classes it is using. Whenever it is using plain Java bean classes, automatically it is becoming as which one? Lightweight mechanism. Hibernate is following POS or POSI kind of implementation. It's okay, fine. Hibernate is having very good collection framework support in order to perform database operations. I said to you clearly regarding this Hibernate and it's supporting which one can know collection support here. Simple point I am telling you. In the case of Hibernate, whenever we are retrieving multiple records from database table, that all the records are provided in the form of a particular list object by this Hibernate. List object is a part of the which one no collections. So internally collections are used effectively in the case of this which one no Hibernate. Next one. Hibernate is having database independent, object oriented and powerful query language in the form of HQL, Hibernate query language. Still if you are habituated or else before this HQL we can perform the database operations on the basis of only single record. You may insert single record, you may retrieve single record, you may update single record, you may delete single record. Only single record kind of manipulations we are able to do before this HQL. But once the HQL was introduced there, then we have an environment to retrieve multiple records from database table. Transferring a table, all records into which one they know? Another table. Transferring all the records from one table to another table. Understand my point here? and like this, performing operations with multiple records. That kind of environment we are getting from which one? No, HQL only. But in the case of HQL, what we are going to provide? In the case of SQL, we are going to perform actions on which one? Table names and column names. But in the case of HQL, we are going to perform operations on which one? POSO class names and POSO class variables names directly. So here also we never touch with which one? Or database dependent content. Here also Java Bean class names here we are going to use. Java Bean class properties here we are going to use directly. Next one is which one? Hibernate is having very good annotation support to reduce XML dependency. That's very clear. Annotations and XML both are alternatives. Initially XML configurations are available. Later on annotations are provided. By introducing these annotations, the total XML conventions we are able to remove. Total XML documents we are able to remove inside our Hibernate applications by using annotations there. So that's why Hibernate is allowing the annotation support in order to reduce XML dependency. Good, sir. Hibernate is having very good implementations for all primary key generation algorithms in order to generate primary key values internally. Yes, this is required. This is important point for us. So why? Because inserting a record into the database table, that operation is very important. It is somewhat sensitive operation. While inserting records into the database table, we need to manage unique identity for primary key values. So the primary key value generation we are not going to be given to which one? No, customers or users. Why? Because users are unable to provide unique values there. They don't know which values are already existed, which values uniquely we have to provide. So definitely we need to take the responsibility to generate which one? No, unique values there. That means our application has to take the responsibility to generate unique values for primary keys. Our application is just we are using Hibernate. So Hibernate tool has to take the responsibility to provide these primary key values uniquely. To generate these primary key values, n number of algorithms are available in outside. It's not only in the case of Hibernate. It is a common problem in every database related application there. So n number of alternatives, n number of algorithms are available to generate primary keys in outside. So Hibernate has provided environment to implement it, or else Hibernate is already implementing all the well-known primary key generation algorithms as part of its storage. But our job is which one? Hibernate is already having that primary key generation algorithms internally, but our job is which one? Just use them for our applications. Which mechanism we require to generate primary key value, identify that and use that for our application directly. That automatically primary key generation algorithms here we are able to use directly. So sir, this is one branch. Next up, another content here we can understand it. Everybody understand my point, no? Hibernate is having very good transaction support. Hibernate is having very good transaction support. In JDBC also we have transaction support, but it is limited. Very limited support is available in the case of this JDBC. But Hibernate is providing very good transaction support. Even we can use a JTA, Java Transaction API, middleware service. That one also we can integrate with our which one? Then Hibernate applications. So inbuilt transaction support is very good in the case of which one? No, Hibernate. Good, sir. So that is also be another feature here we can understand. Next one, sir. Another important point is which one? Hibernate is having very good caching mechanisms. Hibernate is having very good caching mechanisms in order to improve object reusability. Hibernate is having very good caching mechanisms in order to improve objects reusability. This is also one of the important features in Hibernate. Try to recognize it. What is this caching mechanism first of all? Just I will explain to you. Then after that we are going to understand it clearly. All of you observe this one. So this is my application, sir. Java application, for example. If it is Java application, here we are having database. This is database. This is database. Inside this database here we are having EMP1 table, ENO, ename, ESAL. ENO, ename and ESAL. Like this we are having columns. AAA 5000, 222 BBB 6000, 333 CCC 7000. Anyway, it's okay, fine. Like this, a number of records are available. So as for my Java application requirement, as part of my Java applications requirement, 5 times or 10 times I need 111 employee object. 10 times I require which one? No, 111 employee object. Just don't think about it as a single program here. Modules are available. This is one program and this is another program, and maybe this is which one, another program, like this. A number of blocks are available, or maybe modules, anything we can understand it. So my requirement is which one here? 10 modules are available here. In all 10 modules are required which one? They know all this 111 employee records here. The data is required. So what we have to do there? What is the solution for it now? First time we have to interact with this database. Connection con is equal to driver manage.get connection. Then after that, select a star from EMP1 where ENO is equal to 111. That record we are getting, that record data we are using inside our which one? No, JDBC application here. That's okay. Second time we require the same object. Even though we require the same object in another program, again we have to establish connection. Anyway, connection we are going to be established, no problem. Again we have to retrieve the data from database table here. That means select the star from that. For if we have to execute, we have to get the data from database table. Like this, 10 times we require the same E111, that means 111 employee record. Here, 10 times we will interact with the database, 10 times we will execute the select SQL query, 10 times we will get the record data, 10 times we will manage that record data in our JDBC application. This is the regular process. But Hibernate is having caching mechanisms to improve our usability. How Hibernate is providing that kind of content here? All of you observe this one. So Hibernate is having caching memory internal. Is maintaining some caching mechanisms. Just we can understand this is caching memory. Cache memory. What's the meaning of this cache memory here? No, this cache memory is able to manage some objects for future purpose. It is able to manage some objects for future purpose. Okay, how Hibernate was designed actually? Hibernate was designed in such a way, when we perform retrieval operation, Hibernate will not interact with the database directly. Hibernate will not interact with the database directly. So what Hibernate will do? First, Hibernate will search for the required object in cache memory. If that object is available in cache memory, directly it will get that object. It will use that object. If object is not available in cache memory, then what it will do? Then only Hibernate will interact with which one? Database. Then it will retrieve the data. Then it will manage that object. That object will be stored inside which one? Cache memory. So which data will be managed? We can understand it. The data is which one? 111, M1, AAA and 5000. Object is created here. That object will be managed inside our cache memory by using cache mechanisms. Okay. Then after that, Hibernate will take that which one correct that value from which one to this particular. Okay, fine. So one time, first time we are retrieving that object there. Whenever we retrieve first time that object, first it will search in cache memory. It is not available. Directly Hibernate will interact with the database now, and it will get record data. But whenever that record data is getting from database table, one copy will be maintained in which one? Cache memory, and the same copy will be used in which one? Our Hibernate application. Okay, in another module I require the same thing. The same thing is implemented by using same Hibernate. So once again I require the same 111 record. Then whenever we record that 111 record once again, what Hibernate will do there? Hibernate will search in which memory there initially? Cache memory. Now tell me. Now employee object is available or not in cache memory? Yes, it is available. Directly that Hibernate will get that object, and Hibernate will use that object in our application time. So it will not interact with the database. Again, part time also, if you require the same object, first it will search in which one it will search in cache memory. In cache memory, that object is existed actually. Then immediately Hibernate will get that object from cache memory. That will be used inside our which one Java application. Directly that data will be taken from which one? The cache memory to which one? Java application. Now tell me here, 3 times I required employee object, 3 times I am using employee object. But how many times we interacted with the database now? Only 1 time we interacted with the database. So because of this cache memory, because of this cache mechanisms now, Hibernate is reducing number of trips to the database or not? Hibernate is reducing number of hits to the database or not? So interacting with the database is a strengthful operation. It requires more memory and more execution. Performance will be degraded. But because of this cache memory, updates are going to be reused. At the same time, performance of the applications are improved or not. So this mechanism is available with which one? Hibernate. And moreover, this Hibernate is having levels of cache. 1 level cache and 2 level cache is available. Session level cache is available. Session factory level cache is also available here. So it is having its own organization over which one cache mechanisms directly. These cache mechanisms are providing somewhat advantage for our which one Hibernate applications there. So that's why this is also be one of the advantages for which one Hibernate. Right, sir. Hibernate is having very good cache mechanisms in order to improve which one object reusability. Right, sir. So it's Hibernate caching only. In Hibernate, cache is available in different levels. Session level cache and session factory level cache technologies are available. You're able to use that. First it will set at the cache, session level cache there. And after that it will go for which one? Session factory level cache. Different mechanisms available. Once again I will discuss about it clearly. Right, sir. After completion of this cache mechanisms content here, Hibernate is having very good tools to support in order to create tables and databases automatically. Hibernate is having very good tool support in order to create tables and databases automatically. This point also I want to give clarity. So listen 1.5 clearly. I prepared one Hibernate application. to perform operation with my Hibernate application, I need a set of tables at my database. But I am basically a Java developer. I'm not having very good awareness on which one, no, databases. I don't know how to write SQL queries in more complex situation. But I can manage that SQL queries up to 4 or 5. But I'm unable to and implement that database logic by using SQL completely. I don't know much about it. But unfortunately, what I required, I need my Hibernate application required which one? A set of tables. Not only the tables, between them relationship is also required. But defining relationship is somewhat difficult for me. I don't know how to define relationship between the tables here. That is database implementer's job. But for testing point of view, my application requires some tables instead of our databases now. So what I have to do? One approach is which one? I have to learn Oracle perfectly. Then I have to go for this Oracle. Thereby I have to go for preparing the tables with relationship. Everything I have to do manually. This is butterful approach. That's why here what I am telling you. I want to give an intimation to my Hibernate. What is that intimation there? I don't want to create any table. I didn't create any table in my databases there. So what I am telling there, with respect to your Hibernate application, which tables and which relationships and which conventions you require, prepare yourself. I don't want to create any table in the database. We can prepare yourself required tables and you can insert the data into the specified generated tables automatically. But don't ask me prepare table inside our databases. I want to give this kind of support to, I want to get this kind of support from which one? No, Hibernate. So Hibernate is having this kind of support. That is exactly which one here? No, tools. So Hibernate tools are available internally. By using the tools, this kind of table creation and schemas generation, all the things here we are able to do in our databases automatically. This is not like any explicit. Automatically this kind of things here we are able to do that. So this is the meaning of which one? Tools here. Which tools are available? Schema export tool is available. Schema import to schema update tool is available. Schema export tool, creating a table. If any table is exist already, if the table is exist with the same name, drop it and create a new table as per the configurations which we provide in our Hibernate application. Next one, schema update tool is available. Already table is existed. Don't delete that existed table. Alter the table. If any new configurations we require there, alter the table and perform our respective database operations. Code generation tool is also available. With respect to the database table, we prepare POSO classes there, being classes here. But this was deprecated in the latest versions of this Hibernate here. That's why we are not going to talk about it. Maximum which one here now, if you need any table in database, and let the Hibernate to create the tables here. How the Hibernate is able to create the tables now? By using internally. Internally it is using which one can now directly some tools it able to use it. By using the tools only it able to perform all these kind of things directly. That's why this is the maximum information about which one can know tools content clearly. So we can use the time. Hibernate is having very good tool support in order to create tables that databases automatically. Not only create, in order to create or alter table set to databases automatically. So what are the tools here? If you want to go for the names of these tools now, schema export and schema update, this kind of tools are existed. We'll discuss about these concepts clearly later on here. This is one point here. Next one, after completion of this, Hibernate is having its own connection pooling mechanism. Hibernate is having its own connection pooling mechanism in order to reuse connection objects. Hibernate is having its own connection pooling mechanism in order to reuse connection objects. Built-in connection pooling mechanism is available inside this Hibernate. First of all, what is the requirement of this connection pooling? What is the meaning of this connection pooling? Simple points I am telling to all of you. Listen carefully. Very simple point, sir. In a Hibernate, in general in JDB's applications, if you want to interact with the database, what we have to do? Class.forName, driver class name, connection con is equal to driver manager.get connection. From 10 applications I want to interact with the database. 10 times you have to create connection objects or not? Okay, we need to create connection object. At the end of the program, we have to close that connection object or not? So creating connection object and closing connection object every time, these two are the most expensive operations. Creating connection object and closing connection object are which one they know? Expensive operations. What is the meaning of expensive operations? No, strengthful operations. What is the meaning of strengthful operations? Where they may take more time and more memory to perform these operations. Performance of the applications will be reduced. If you perform frequently, creating connection object and closing connection object, automatically performance of the application will be reduced. So I want to avoid this creation and dissection of the connection objects while executing our program. I want to remove this kind of operations. So I want to go for an alternative. What is the alternative here I want to use there? My alternative is very clear. What exactly my alternative? No. Understand my point? My alternative is which one? At the time of loading my application, even not starting execution, at the time of loading my application, I'll take a pool object, just like a collection object. Collection is able to manage some other objects, no? In the same way, pool object we are able to create. Inside this pool object, 10 or 50 number of connection objects we will keep. Inside the pool object, 5 to 10 objects, connection objects we are able to keep. Good. While executing program, if any request is coming there for connecting with the database, no, first our pool manager is available. Pool manager will search for the connection object inside the pool object. If connection object is vacant, that connection object will be assigned for our request in order to interact with the database. It will perform database operations. So whenever our work is completed, instead of destroying that connection object, send back that connection object to the pool object. Get the connection object from pool object, use that, send back that connection object to the pool object. We never created connection object, we never destroyed connection objects while executing our program. If you need any connection object, get that connection object from pool object. Use it. At the end of the program, send back that connection object to which one they know corresponding to. Okay. 10 connection objects I prepared in a single pool. 20 requests are coming there. First 10 requests it will give support. Next 10 requests are in waiting stage. 20 requests are coming for connection objects, but in the pool object only 10 connection objects are available. At a time 10 connection objects are giving service for 10 number of requests, but remaining 10 requests are available. No, the 10 requests must be stored in which one they know? Waiting stage. In a waiting state they are available. While executing this, while processing this 10 requests, no, if any request is completing, if any request processing was completed, their connection object is vacant. No, connection object will be sent to which one? Pool object. Whenever connection object is coming to the pool object, immediately pool manager will assign that connection object for 11 requests. Meanwhile, if any connection object is released by any request, no, that connection object will be assigned for which one? Or 12 requests. Like this, dynamically connection objects are going to be assigned for different requests dynamically. So by that, dynamic assignment is going on for connection objects. No, by having this kind of mechanism, within less number of connection objects, we are able to achieve more and more database operations directly. This advantage we are able to get by having which one? No, connection. You may have one doubt now. So as per our example, 10 connection objects are available in pool. 20 requests are okay, fine, no problem. Little bit waiting state, we are able to manage it. If 100 requests are coming, 100 requests are coming in the sense, at a time 10 requests are processed by 10 objects. First 10 are processed, next 10 next 10, next 10 third attempt, next 10 fourth attempt. When we come for 10th attempt, no, 10th might be connections, no, 10th request there, no, 10th level request, no, at each and every time 10 objects only. 10th time in the sense 90th to 100 requests, no, how much time they have to wait. So So waiting state is increased or not? Even whenever waiting state is increased, again performance will be reduced. So in that situation, we have to balance effectively. We have to balance that number of requests and number of connection objects in the pool. We have to balance it. Each and every pool object is having maximum capacity, maximum level. Maximum level of the connection object is which one there? For example, 20 or 30. Maximum level of connection objects are which one? 30 for a pool. Initially might be 10 objects are available. Depending on the requirement, depending on the traffic, increase number of connection objects in our pool object. 10 objects are providing services. 11th request is coming. Create a new object. You maintain that object inside our pool and assign that object. Like that, 30 number of objects we can max. We can create there. That is the threshold value for this connection. Whenever threshold value is reached there, number of connection objects, no, but still more requirement is available for connections. 200 number of requests are coming at a day, but here already might be 30 number of connection objects are providing services. No, threshold value is reached there. Then in that situation, what we have to do now? Plan to prepare next pool object. Another pool object we can prepare. Depending on the ratio, we can prepare next pool object. If that next pool is object is also not sufficient, prepare next pool object. So this is totally a mechanism. This mechanism is called as which one? Connection pooling mechanism. So fixed number of connection objects we can prepare. We can provide services for more and more number of requests directly. Less number of connection objects with more database operations. Little bit of waiting time may be happened there, but that is not considerable, that is neglectable directly. So connection objects here we are able to use. So here Hibernate, what I am telling you, Hibernate is having its own connection pooling mechanism in order to reuse which one there no connection objects directly. These are the various features are exist about our which one there Hibernate. One more point. Actually, one more point. Hibernate has very good implementations for associations and joins. Hibernate has very good implementations for associations and joins. I'm asking one question to all of you, try to understand. Employee table is available, account table is available. Okay. My requirement is which one? I want to retrieve employee data. When I retrieve employee data, automatically employee data and as well as account data must also be generated. Both are in which relationship? There are no associations. One-to-one or maybe one-to-many or whatever it may be. Some relationship is existed, no? As per this cascading, if I access employee data, automatically I have to get which one? No, account. But in my application, what I am expecting? No, employee data I am expecting. But along with that employee data, account data is also becoming. So employee data must be stored in employee object. Account data must be stored in which object? No, account object. We have to get separate. Understand it? How it is possible? Okay, first of all, tell me, if you want to access the data from employee, if you want to access the data from both the tables, which one here we need to apply there? No? Joins we have to implement or not? In our SQL queries, we need to provide some joins or not? Understand my point, sir? Inner joins or maybe leftover joins or left inner joins, like this number of joins are available. We need to apply that simple join. We need to apply the join operations there. Then only we are able to get data from multiple tables directly. Okay, good. So Hibernate is having very good implementation. How to run a join operations internally, how to retrieve the data from multiple tables, how to separate this multiple data with respect to the tables, how to keep that multiple records of data, multiple tables data in the respective objects. That Hibernate is having very good implementation. Next one, in the same way, associations data. Hibernate is having very good implementations to achieve associations related operations. One-to-one association, one-to-many association, many-to-one association, many-to-many association. Like this, a number of associations are existed. So whenever we are trying to get a student object, along with the student, I want to get which one? Associated courses objects also. Student has joined with 10 courses now. Whenever I am trying to get a single student object, I want to get which one? You know, along with that single student object, 10 course objects also I want to get. There also might be some associations we require here. So student data must be generated in the student object, and courses data must be stored in the form of courses objects in the form of a collection. In that way I need to get the data directly. So for that purpose, once again, we need to have some support from HIBERNATE here. HIBERNATE is having very good implementations for the associations and joins directly. This is what exactly the content is. Like this, a number of options are available if you want to speak out about this HIBERNATE. But we can understand it. Some of the features can be listed out here regarding this HIBERNATE. Tell me, sir, what are the various features here? First one is which one? HIBERNATE is database independent. Next one is which one? HIBERNATE is used for both standalone applications and enterprise applications. HIBERNATE will run under application servers and without the application servers. HIBERNATE is more portable persistence mechanism. HIBERNATE is a lightweight persistence mechanism. Next one is HIBERNATE is following both the kind of implementation. HIBERNATE is having very good collection framework support in order to perform database operations. Next one is HIBERNATE is having database independent or object oriented powerful query language in the form of HQL. HIBERNATE query language. Next one is which one? HIBERNATE is having very good annotation support to reduce XML dependency. HIBERNATE is having very good implementation for all the primary key generation algorithms in order to generate primary key values internally. Next one is HIBERNATE is having very good transaction support. HIBERNATE is having very good caching mechanisms in order to improve object reusability. HIBERNATE is having very good tool support in order to create or alter tables and database automatically. HIBERNATE is having its own connection pooling mechanism in order to reuse connection objects. HIBERNATE is having very good implementations for associations and joins there. Associations and joins are existed here inside this HIBERNATE directly. Like this, a number of features are available, but these are the strong features about this HIBERNATE directly. Leave it so. Next one is which one? They know HIBERNATE architecture. HIBERNATE architecture. This part is very, very important. We have to understand this HIBERNATE architecture perfectly. Why? Because if you understand one time this HIBERNATE architecture, remaining parts of this HIBERNATE will be very simple. Easily we can prepare applications. Indirectly I am giving HIBERNATE components. If you want to prepare any HIBERNATE application, what exactly things we have to prepare? That steps also be covered inside this particular one. Try to recognize it. Right, sir. Understand this one? HIBERNATE architecture. To prepare HIBERNATE applications, a standard structure is available, standard architecture is available. For this HIBERNATE product, the standard content is available. What exactly is HIBERNATE? I'll give a diagram. Try to understand this diagram here. This is a HIBERNATE software. Right. After this HIBERNATE software, here we are able to have which one? Database. Database is existed here. Okay, fine. Now here we have a component. This is called as HIBERNATE configuration file. This is exactly which one, Hibernate configuration file. This is another one. This is mapping file. Hibernate mapping file. Hibernate mapping file. Now here, client application is existed. Client application or test application, both are same. Client or test application. Understand? Hibernate configuration file and Hibernate software, Hibernate mapping file, tester client application. Now this is database. That's it. First of all, we will understand the purpose of each and every component. We will understand it. What is the purpose of each and every component? Then after that, I will go flow of execution. One thing is very clear. Hibernate software is a central component. It will use all the remaining components in order to perform database operation. That's very clear. Hibernate software is which one? Central component. It is able to use configuration file and a mapping file and client application. Then finally it will perform which one? Database operations. Good sir. Next one is configuration file. Here we have to use. What exactly the details here we are able to provide inside this configuration files here no? First one is which one? Driver data, driver details. Which driver we are going to use to interact with the database. That's my point. Next one is which one there? Transaction details. Isolation levels, we are able to configure that. Isolation levels can we are able to provide. Isolation levels in the sense which one can know? Like number of isolation levels are available here. Transaction underscore serializable, transaction underscore read underscore uncommitted, transaction underscore read underscore committed. Like this, number of isolation levels are available. They are also declared. Next one, caching mechanisms. Configurations are available and so on. But majorly, we need to understand to interact with the database, which configuration details we require. That information is available with which one? You know, Hibernate configuration file. So simply, what I am telling now. It provides details to Hibernate software it will provide details to Hibernate software in order to interact with the database. That's it. This is a main intention of which one you know, this Hibernate configuration file. Anyway, these many things are not required immediately. Just we can understand. I said you clearly. Okay, fine. We can use it. Driver details, transaction. Driver details in the sense what exactly the driver class. What driver URL, database username, database password, all these things we require to establish a connection there with the database system. Transaction details, cache mechanisms, all the things are going to be configured inside this Hibernate configuration. So when we perform a particular database operation in Hibernate application, first Hibernate software must establish connection with the database or not. So the connection details and all the details are taken from which one? Configuration file. Hibernate software will take the details from configuration file, then it will establish connection with the database file. So that is the purpose of which one? Configuration. How we are going to prepare this configuration file? I'll give you later on. Next one is which one? Then after that. So here it is having proper communication. After getting these details from this configuration file only, finally it will interact with the database. That means connection it will establish there first of all. After that it is able to perform which one? Database output. Right, so clear. Next one is which one there? What this mapping file is able to provide. Mapping file information. What this mapping file is able to provide. So it is able to provide classes mapping, POSO classes. Classes mapping, that means class to table mapping like this. Next one is which one? Properties mapping. Next one is which one? Then after this properties mapping, I should be able to provide directly associations mapping. Next one is which one? After this association mapping, inheritance mapping. Like this, number of mapping details are existed here. Okay, majorly what it will provide there, if you think about a common message, common information about it, what it is able to provide, it will provide mapping details between POSO class and a database table in order to prepare database native SQL queries. That's it. It will provide mapping details between POSO class and database table to Hibernate software in order to prepare database native SQL queries in order to execute. That's okay. This is mainly the concept. That means whenever we are trying to perform a database operation, Hibernate software required with which POSO class this database operation is performing, what is the corresponding table in the database. On the basis of the POSO class name, it will identify the table name. On the basis of the properties names, it will identify the column names there. Then it will prepare database dependent SQL query internally. The database dependent SQL query will be executed by Hibernate software. Understand it? So for the sake of that only, that mapping file is required. It will provide mapping details between POSO class and database table to Hibernate software in order to prepare database native SQL queries in order to execute that SQL queries directly. So definitely when we are performing these persistence operations there, that Hibernate software will interact with which one, this mapping file. It will get the required mapping details here and it is able to prepare native SQL queries and it is able to execute that SQL queries and it will perform which one? Database operations there. That's okay. Fine. What about this client application directory? What are the various responsibilities of this client application? Client application responsibilities are very clear, sir. What are the various responsibilities for this client application here now? First of all, point number 1. Activating HIBERNATE software. We will activate this HIBERNATE software, client application only. Understand it? Next one. Second one is which one? You know, creating bean objects. Creating bean objects. Bean objects in the sense pose objects. For example, if I want to insert employee record in the database table, in HIBERNATE what we have to do? We are not going to prepare SQL query directly. So everything we have to do with Java methods only. But if you want to insert any record data into the database table, first store that record data in the form of which one? Bean object. First store that record data in the form of which one? Bean object. That is employee object. Create an employee object where keep the data. Then use save method. Save up that employee object. Automatically employee object will be given to HIBERNATE software. HIBERNATE software will take data from employee object, and on the basis of that mapping details it is able to prepare one SQL query. It will insert that record data into which one? They know database table directly. That's why creating bean objects. And third one is which one? You know, perform persistence operations. Perform persistence operations. Then after performing persistence operations, HIBERNATE software will do that operations and it is able to identify some results here. Finally, get results. Get results, and finally what it will do? They know display that results. Display that results or use that results as per our application requirement. Like this here, it is able to prepare like this. So it's having which one? You know, interaction with this HIBERNATE software. Then it is able to get some results from which one? You know, HIBERNATE software. Right, sir. But while performing this application, while performing this database operations, that client application must generate some POSO object to which one? They know HIBERNATE software. That client application must send that POSO class object, that is bean object, to which one? Can know directly HIBERNATE software can be able to do. Right, sir. For example, I want to take one example here. Through this example here, I want to perform our content here. Try to recognize it. Internal flow. I am going to provide the try to recognize this internal flow of execution. So what is my operation actually? What I want to perform there? Just I want to prepare employee object. New employee object. Save of EMP. I want to use this. Understand it? I want to give total flow of execution. Try to recognize it. First point number 1. We need to activate HIBERNATE software. For that purpose, we have a method. A set of instructions are available. By using that, we are able to activate HIBERNATE software. When we activate this HIBERNATE software, what will happen? HIBERNATE software will be activated. As part of that, activating in the sense HIBERNATE software will be loaded. At the time of loading this entire HIBERNATE software, what HIBERNATE will do there? It will recognize configuration file, and it will load configuration file. It will parse the configuration file. It will read configuration file data. It will keep the configuration file data in the form of configuration object. Okay. As part of parsing configuration file, it will identify mapping files. Number of mapping files may be available. It is not a single mapping file, but configuration file is single, but mapping files may be any number. Why? Because 10 classes I have used, mean classes in my hybrid application. 10 tables mapping is required. We are unable to provide all 10 classes, 10 tables mapping in a single mapping file. Of course, it is possible, but we are going to take different mapping files. For each and every class, a separate mapping file we are going to do. So, while parsing configuration file, HIBERNATE software will recognize what exactly mapping files are available, which mapping files are available there. Then HIBERNATE software will parse, will load all the mapping files. HIBERNATE software will parse on these mapping files and reading the data from which one they know that mapping files and storing the data in the form of some internal objects. Mapping objects are going to be available, internally the mapping details are going to be seen. So these things are performed whenever we are activating which one HIBERNATE software. Come on, now tell me what will happen when we activate this HIBERNATE software First of all, HIBERNATE software will be loaded. Then after that, immediately it will take configuration details from which one they know. HIBERNATE configuration file. Okay. By taking configuration details, how it is able to take the configuration details? No, it will recognize configuration file, loading configuration file, parsing configuration file, reading the content from configuration file, storing the data inside which one? No, object. Then after that, it will establish connection with the database. It will prepare statements or whatever it may be. Everything might be taken care of by which one? No, HIBERNATE software. Then after that, in HIBERNATE configuration file, mapping files names we have to specify. How many and which mapping files we are using that configuration we have to provide in configuration file. As per that mapping files configuration, is there the configuration file? HIBERNATE software will recognize all the mapping files. HIBERNATE software will load all the mapping files, will parse all the mapping files, it will read the data from mapping files. The data will be stored in the form of some internal objects directly. That's it. This is what exactly the mapping file content here we can understand. Right, sir? Then after that, after completion of this particular HIBERNATE mapping file reading and everything, no? Next one is which one? Now inside our client application, creating bean object. This is completed. Now come for creating bean objects. Now here we are creating bean objects. Then after performing persistence operation, save of EMP. We perform this persistence operation. Whenever we perform this persistence operation, immediately what happens there? First of all, when we create bean object here, we are getting data, for example, 111, and here. Persistence operation, save of EMP. We perform this persistence operation. Whenever we perform this persistence operation, immediately what happens there? First of all, when we create bean object here, we are getting data, for example, 111, and here AAE and 5000, for example. Data is available. Now what happened here now, this data provided by client application along with our persistence method, the same bean object will be given to which one, HIBERNATE software. Now what HIBERNATE software will do now? What HIBERNATE software will do now? HIBERNATE software will take a method name. What exactly the method name? Save. With respect to this method name, it is trying to prepare insert SQL query. It is trying to prepare which SQL query? Insert SQL query. Database dependent SQL query. In the case of Oracle database, which SQL query is required? Only that one will be prepared by HIBERNATE. In the case of MySQL database, which SQL query is required there? The same thing will be created by which one? HIBERNATE. So it is able to prepare insert SQL query. But recognize it, no? To prepare insert SQL query, table name and column names are required or not? Okay, fine. Then immediately what HIBERNATE software will do, no? It will recognize the POSO class name. That means POSO class object will be provided. By using reflection API internally, it will identify what exactly the class. Which class is available. Reflection API will be used effectively internally. On the basis of the object reference variable, it is able to identify class. That means reference variable dot get class method. Now this is calling get class method java.lang class object we are getting. From this class object, if you call get name method, automatically class name, POSO class name here we are getting. Okay, it will identify POSO class name. On the basis of that POSO class name, it will go to mapping file. Insert the mapping file for POSO class name. Definitely one table is matched there now. It will get that map data. ID property. Once the POSO class name we are getting there through reflection API, it is possible to get all the variables and information from which one they know respect to class object. Metadata we are able to get here by using reflection API. It will get that primary key column, that means name. That means ID property name we are getting from POSO. Corresponding mapping is which one? Primary key column name. Normal properties, normal columns. So finally, HIBERNATE software is able to get table name and column names with respect to the POSO class name and POSO class properties. It is able to get from mapping file there. Whenever it is getting all these details from mapping file, then it will prepare SQL query. Whenever it is preparing SQL query, then HIBERNATE software will execute that SQL query by using JDBC API. HIBERNATE will use internally JDBC, not only in HIBERNATE. In every persistence mechanism, internally the concept is which one? JDBC only. That's my point here. Inside the HIBERNATE also JDBC program is executed. JDBC code will be executed. Okay, fine. By the execution of this insert SQL query, record will be inserted to the database table, for example. Here this is database here. Now inside this database table is existed where record will be inserted here. 111 AAA 5000. Good, sir. Whenever record is inserted here, it will give a confirmation there. Confirmation is which one? whenever record is inserted there, primary key value will be written to which one? Then Hibernate application. Hibernate software will get primary key value of that record, and that primary key value will be written to which one? They know the respective test application. As the test application, what we are getting the written written value might be we are able to get which one? 111 value. Whenever we are getting 111 value, and we are able to confirm it, my insert operation is completed here. Or else if no exception is raised there, automatically we can think about it. Insert operation is completed directly. That's it. This is what exactly the architecture and internal flow of execution for which one they know Hibernate. Tell me, sir. I am asking one question to all of you. Try to answer for it. In Hibernate applications, how many elements are available now? Tell me now. How many components are existent? Overall 5 components. What are the 5 components? Client application, mapping file, configuration file, Hibernate software, and database. These many things are existent. Now tell me, what is the purpose of configuration file? It maintains all JDBC parameters or connection details, configuration details which are required by Hibernate in order to establish connection with the database. Right, sir. What mapping file is able to provide? See, previously I said ORM, every time I am saying now. I have given definition of the ORM for that. What is the definition for ORM I have given there? There is a set of rules and declarations or guidelines which are used to provide mapping between object-oriented data model and relational data model, either by using XML file or by using annotations. That XML file is mapping file. That ORM is providing mapping between object-oriented data model and relational data model by using which one? An XML file. That XML file is which one? Mapping file. In Hibernate, in the future, if you want to provide annotations, as an alternative for mapping file only, we are going to provide annotations. No annotations are existed for which one? They know configuration file. For configuration object, no annotations are existed. Annotations are existed for only which one? Mapping file. You can understand. Good, sir. Next one. What is the job of the client application there? Already given there 5 points. What is the job of the client applications here? Activating Hibernate software. Next one is creating bean objects. Next one is performing persistence operation. Get results and display the results here. That's it. But when we activate Hibernate software, then what will happen? First, Hibernate software will be loaded. Then after that, it will not creating bean object. At the time of loading Hibernate software, it will recognize all the configuration. It will recognize the configuration file. When it recognizes configuration file, then what it will do there now? It will load configuration file. It will parse configuration file, reading the data from configuration file. The details are going to be stored in configuration object. It's one of the objects inside the Hibernate. Configuration object is created with all configuration details. By using these configuration details, it is able to establish connection with the database and it is able to provide the total environment internal. Next one. Okay, this is completed. And as part of this configuration file parsing, Hibernate software will identify the mapping files and their locations of their names. As per that mapping file, Hibernate software will go for which one? Mapping file loading, mapping file parsing, and reading the content of this mapping file, and they are going to be stored in the form of some objects. Completed. Next one is which one? When we perform persistence operation, what will happen internally? When we perform persistence operation, client program already created POSO object, bean object. Then it will send that persistence method of bean object to the Hibernate software. Hibernate software will get that persistence object and persistence method. As per that persistence method is trying to prepare one SQL code. Here we have used save method, save or persist method. So as per that insert SQL query must be prepared by which one? Then Hibernate software. For example, if you are using get method, if you are using get method, get or load method, it will prepare select SQL query internal. Or else if you provide delete method there, delete SQL query it will prepare. If you use update method there, update SQL query it is able to prepare. So Hibernate software will take that persistence method, and the base of that method is trying to prepare which one? SQL query. Which SQL query it is now? Database dependent SQL query it is able to prepare. Then after that, it will recognize the POSO class object. When POSO class object is provided here, then POSO class object, on the basis of this POSO class object, it is able to identify POSO class name. On the basis of that reflection API, it is able to identify properties and their normal properties there. Then after that, it will go for mapping file. In that mapping file, it is able to provide the mapping between POSO class name and the corresponding table, POSO class properties and the corresponding table columns there. Once it is identifying the total content now, that Hibernate software is able to get the details, column details and table details and all the things now. Then after that it able to prepare one SQL query with respect to the respective persistence method. Then after creating this database dependent SQL query, that Hibernate software will execute the database dependent SQL query. By the execution of the database dependent SQL query, some database operation will be performed there at our database. Whenever database operation is performed there, results are taken back. The results are given back to which one? They are not test application. Now test application is able to display the results to which one? Now respective user. That's this one is the content here we can understand. The architecture is very simple, sir. Matter of configuration file, it's a matter of mapping file and client application. Okay, now I'm asking one question. If you want to prepare any Hibernate application if you want to prepare there, which elements we have to prepare explicitly? Out of these, only 3 elements. What are the 3 elements? You know, configuration file, mapping file, client application. Hibernate software is existed already. That we have to download from internet. We have to use in our system. Database is already existed. Oracle database there. Maybe table is required. So these 2 are existed. These 2 are not prepared by the developer. Developer responsibility is not to prepare which one they know. Hibernate software and database already they are existed. Only developer responsibility is which one? Configuration file, mapping file and the test application. Only these 3 resources must be prepared by which one they know. This Hibernate software directly. That's my point. But if you use MySQL or MyEclipse like these tools there, even mapping file and configuration files are also not prepared in our own. IDEs will prepare. Some other tools are available. The tools are able to prepare mapping files and configuration files automatically. Just you have to prepare client application. Almost it is equal to normal standalone application. Simple core Java program. By that we are able to achieve a total content kit in this time. Right, so that's fine. So this is a total awareness on which one can know Hibernate software and its content. Next thing is which one here? Hibernate steps to prepare Hibernate application. Steps to prepare Hibernate applications. In other words, I want to cover Hibernate components in more elaborated manner. First of all, here what we have to prepare, you know, we need to create, or otherwise, instead of taking this Hibernate steps to prepare Hibernate components, you know, just Hibernate elements, we can take this content here like this. Hibernate elements. Mainly here, which elements can be required here now? Create instead of that creating, you know, just we need to understand some information about which one they know. Hibernate configuration file. This one are required. Next one is which one? Then after that, and before this configuration file, one more thing. Hibernate. 1 minute, sir. I'll give clarity. Hibernate persistence object. Persistence class is required. Second one is which one they know? Hibernate configuration file, or else mapping file we required. Immediately mapping file we required. Third one is which one you know? Hibernate configuration file here we required. Right, sir. After this Hibernate configuration file, we need to go for which one they know? Test application, client or test application. Right, sir. Hibernate persistence class, Hibernate mapping file, Hibernate configuration file, and test or client application. That's it. These are the 4 things that we require to understand clearly. Even steps to prepare Hibernate application also, these are the steps here. Create Hibernate persistence class, that is POSO class now. Create Hibernate mapping file, create Hibernate configuration file, and prepare Hibernate client or test application. Then after that run Hibernate application. That's it. By that we are able to finish our total content. So once if we complete these applications, I will start. Nearly 7 to 8 number of applications I will take, sir. Inside this 7 to 8 number of applications I will prepare there. By that we are able to get some awareness here. First of all, I will take first 4 to 5 applications on the basis of which one can know standalone mode. For Java, main method with Hibernate. Basic operations are available. Inserting a record, updating the record, deleting the record, like number of persistence methods are available. All these methods I want to show there. While showing that all these methods, I will go for some internal concepts also. After completion of that, I will go for which one? GUI with the Hibernate application. AWD programming I will take. AWD program with Hibernate. Next one, servlet with Hibernate combination. JSP with Hibernate combination. Struts with Hibernate combination. Right, sir? Even though if you are not aware about struts framework, no need to worry for that. I will take which one? 2 to 3 classes on the basis of struts framework. I will make you to prepare a program in the struts application. Right. After that, I'll go for combination. In the combination here, we are having number of content that I will discuss with you. Once if I complete that, after completion of that, depending on our level, in my might be dictionary, I'm having which one there no. So after this struts with Hibernate, JSF with Hibernate I can discuss there. Spring with Hibernate I can discuss there. Like what next one, RMI with Hibernate also I can discuss there. Like this, a number of combinations are available. But in my max, core program with Hibernate, AWD program with Hibernate, servlet with Hibernate, JSP with Hibernate, struts with Hibernate. Max I will cover up to this part. Spring with Hibernate I will cover in Spring framework. In Spring applications I will cover directly. Right, sir. In that way I am planning for this content total. Right. So that's fine for today. And tomorrow, in the Sunday, tomorrow also I will take a session to you. Tomorrow I will continue the same content. Tomorrow also we have to come here. Tomorrow no open link, private link and offline students offline. We have to come here. Those are attending in offline, those are attending online, same link we have to use there. Tomorrow we can come here. Maybe in the future weekends, I may think about which one open link classes here. But anyway, tomorrow we have a session. We have to come here. Tomorrow I will continue the same content. I have an elements part I will discuss with you. Right. Thank you. Same timing. No changes on our time here. 7:30 we have to come. Thank you, sir. Thanks so much. So tomorrow no advanced Java class available, sir. Tomorrow we don't have any advanced Java classes there.